In this activity, you will learn how to create or modify a Cornell Note style format template, something very basic for your students. Um, the very first thing you want to do is you want to click on the professional development folder that we created previously in the other activities. Stay organized. So if you, hopefully you have a corner note or some kind of folder for notes, um, go ahead and open that folder up. And notice that ours is blank, but that's fine. We're going to go ahead and create a basic template right now. So the very first thing you want to do is click the new button, click Google Docs. It's going to ask you if you want to create it in a shared folder. Click OK. And once it opens up, you want to go ahead and give this a title. And let's just call it Cornell Note Basic Template. All right. It automatically saves everything. So what we want to do is, this is going to be a very basic template, and there are greater ones and better ones on the internet that you can search for. And that's great because I actually want to cheat later on, and I'm going to show you how to make a copy of those items. But for right now, double click the header and it'll save a little bit of space here for the template. Go ahead and type in a placeholder name, period, date. This is just a placeholder for students. You know, they're the ones that are probably going to be using this, or most likely. You can, if you prefer the names on the right or the left, that's fine. Again, this is just a place where you can always just change it to the actual student's name or period or date. So now that you have that, get out of the header. Make sure you're not inside the header. And the way you know is just click down here. And you should not be typing inside the header because that would be not a very good thing. So click enter one more time. Type in the word title. Hit enter maybe 2 more times. Again, we're just watching our spacing. And we can fix the alignment in a minute. And then we have a section for essential question. That's an important part of note of our Cornell notes. Hit enter 1 time, and that's basically our alignment. We are all you have to do now is put your cursor in front of the title, put center. If you want to make your title a little bit larger, click go ahead and select it, and make it size 14 or whatever you wish. For our essential question, it's essentially gonna go here, and so you have a little bit extra space there to recognize it. Our cursor should be right underneath the word essential question, and what you're gonna do is go ahead and insert table, and you're gonna insert a 4x4 table. You can actually make huge tables here for a bunch of different items. Go ahead and click select insert table, a 2x2. Make sure it's 2x2. All right. And before we do anything, there's one thing I overlooked, and we actually want to change the margins a little bit, just to give us a little bit more note-taking room. So go ahead and click File, down to Page Setup. And on our margins, we're going to change it from 1 inch to 0.5. And what that does is going to give us a little bit more room, a little bit more room to work with on the page here. There's a bunch of settings you can change. If you were wondering where you can actually change it to landscape mode, this is it, page setup. And we're not going to click set anything else, just 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, and click OK. And what that does, it just gives a little bit more room to work with, because the Cornell note style taking format requires you that on the left side, we use that section for questioning and for vocabulary and for main ideas and whatever you wish. The right side is always for notes. The left side, again, I always tell students that's the section they need to ask me questions, main ideas, even vocabulary. That's a great place to put the word on the left, definitions on the right. And again, you can always manipulate the line here, left to right. It gives us a little bit of room on the left and a lot more note-taking room on the right side. So once you have that, just hold down the enter key and it opens it up down. You don't want to go too far down because we need a section for summarizing. So put your cursor on the left underneath the table. Hit enter one time and just type in the word summary. Hit enter one time. And again, now we're going to insert a table that's one by one. There you go. Put your cursor in there. It should already be in there actually. Hit enter maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And now you have a section for your summary. Notice that the name, period, and date went on because it's written in the header. That's essentially it's gonna move to the next page every single time that you have multiple pages. So I'm not sure how you feel about that, but it saves space. And again, we're trying to maximize the amount of note-taking space that students can use on this basic template. All right. Now, if you want to cheat, you don't have to do any of this. You can actually just go to this link that says Cornell Note template. I want to make this a little bit larger so you can view that. Okay. And it's again, it's a short link. And the short link will be this. It's capital U, capital V, capital T, little j, little v, capital V as in Victor. All right. A lot of V's. I'm not sure why that is. Anyway, that is the link to a very similar template, if not identical. But the difference being that you're going to make a copy of that one. And that's the function that I was talking about earlier. You can file, make a copy. Now, before we do that, I want you to see something. This Google Docs on the previous, I'm switching between tabs up here. And I went to the previous tab where it says Cornell Basic Template because that's essentially what we just created. So we're going to create another one. I mean, we're not creating. We're going to make a copy of another one. And we're going to actually be able to select the folder that we want to share it in or save it in, excuse me. So we're actually going to save it under my drive and then drag and drop into this folder. It's going to be very easy. It sounds more complicated than it is, but make sure you go to this link if you haven't done already so. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And it's going to open up. And again, this is it's very similar to the one we just created. Except that this time, now you realize that you didn't have to do any of that. Now you could have just borrowed it from me or from a colleague. And that's what makes Google great, is it the sharing aspect of it is wonderful. So we're going to go ahead and file, make a copy. And you know it's a copy because it says copy of right at the beginning. You can select the folder that you want to share it in, similar to a computer. I'm going to select my drive. And that's it. That's really all you have to do at this moment in time is click OK. And it'll open up under a new tab, but that's fine. Now you know you have made a copy of an item because it says copy of in the title. Now, you don't even have to look at that. We know what that looks like. That's our template that we just stole from me. And you can close that. You can also close the one that you were working on. Don't worry, everything's automatically saved. And you can even close it all out. Now, just make sure you're under your Google Drive. Now, we have our basic template that we created together, but we want to find the one that we made a copy of. And again, you could have selected any folder to save it in. I selected my drive. So I'm just going to look for that item. And here it is. Copy of EDEL590 Cornell Notes Master Template. All right. So I'm going to drag that and put it in my Cornell Note folder. Yes, I want to, it's going to ask us, it's going to prompt us if you want to save that in a shared folder because, again, anybody who has access to that folder can actually see it. And I want to click OK. If I go inside the Cornell Note folder that we previously collected on our folder structure, now we have that copy of that item, which is great. And you can do this for anything that you find on the internet related to Google. You don't have to, you can, as long as you can view it, you can make a copy of it and modify it as you wish. Because once you make a copy of it, it's yours to keep, and you can modify it as often or make as many changes as you wish.